where the sun burns cold and the wind blows colder.
Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and today Cody Leach joins me as we continue going through the Alien franchise. And here on my channel, we land on Alien 3. Now, keep in mind, this is my first time ever going through this franchise. So, all of this is my first impressions, my first time seeing these movies. And we're on Alien 3.
We are on Alien 3.
Cody, before we dive in, just tell us a little bit about your channel. Something happy before we get into this.
All right, people. Well, if you've seen the other two videos that we did, obviously you recognize me. But if this is your first time checking us out, you can find me at youtube.com/Cody Leach channel, or you can just search Cody Leach and I should be the first one up. I do a lot of the similar videos that Durbin does, movie reviews, trailer reactions. I also do a lot of music and video game reviews and a lot of fun stuff like that. So come over there and check it out. And also check out our Aliens review, which is on my channel if you have not checked that out yet.
Yes, the other thing up on his channel right now, Alien Resurrection. So if you want to see our review for the fourth one, once you get to the end of this one, flip over to his channel, check out our review of Alien Resurrection. And we're going to continue through the Alien vs. Predator movies after this. So that'll be pretty exciting. So, here we go. Alien 3. To sum this movie up, something goes wrong when she's frozen in her sleep again. She crashes on a prison planet full of men who are rapists and murderers who decided to accept Jesus. And so now they're trying to be pious and religious. I don't even know if it's Jesus. All I know is they're just trying to be pious and religious. And it's not working out for them very well. And an alien is running loose because of reasons. So,
it's a good summary.
Gosh, that is a good summary. This is going to be hard, Cody, because you warned me going into this that in the first 90 seconds I was going to be angry.
I did warn you.
You didn't warn me as to how angry. So,
yeah.
In Aliens, we had this epic. We're sacrificing everything for Newt. It was epic.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through all of this trouble, all of this tension, and we got the payoff. Newt is saved. Michael Biehn is saved. Bishop, well,
half of him is saved.
There. Half of him is saved. Everything is good. And in 90 seconds of this movie, the first 90 seconds, we kill Newt. We kill Michael Biehn. And we put an end to Bishop.
Yep.
Nothing, no ceremony to this whatsoever.
Nope. It's all in the opening credits.
We just ended this in a montage in the opening credits. Now, I get it, okay? The girl who played Newt is much older now, so we can't really use her again, because it wouldn't make much sense. Unless you just didn't make Alien 3, but I don't know. Cody, your thoughts. I can't think.
Okay, well, look, here's the deal. I'm sure we both can agree that following Aliens would be an extremely difficult task for anybody.
Yeah, no matter what you do, that's hard.
So there is that. Yeah. And then, Alien 3 is one of those movies where a lot of people hate on it. A lot of people say it's the worst in the franchise. A lot of people even go as far as to say that it's one of the worst sequels ever made. And the honest truth is that all of those people are right. This movie sucks. Alien 3 is one of the most infuriating movie experiences that you can ever put yourself through if you've seen the first two. I mean, there's making a bad movie, there's making a bad sequel, and then there's slapping your fans in the face, and that is exactly what Alien 3 is. It's, like you said, the first 30 minutes of this movie is just basically continuously smacking you in the face for enjoying Aliens. Because not only do they kill the best characters aside from Ripley in the first 90 seconds in this, like you said, unceremonial way, it's just, in the opening credits, by the way, all those people are dead that you were waiting. I think this movie came out like in 93 or something like that. So I mean, you've been waiting 9 years to find out what's happened to these characters, and the answer is, they died in their sleep. Which brings one question this movie sucks. That's my basic thoughts on it. But here's the one thing that really pisses me off about it too, aside from the fact that they're dead, is that the movie forces you to suspend your disbelief of the fact that the characters that managed to get out of that crazy situation in Aliens, the character that went and took on an alien queen and defeated her by herself, is too stupid to check the escape ship to make sure there's not an alien walking around.
That was infuriating. As soon as I saw that little spider crab in there, I was like, are you kidding me?
That would be step
Ripley
one.
would have found that.
That would be step one.
Ah!
Okay, we've escaped. Let's make sure that there's nothing else hanging out in this ship. That would have been step one. And
yes!
they expect you
Yes!
to believe that, okay, well, the threat is over. We're just going to go to sleep and hang out until we get to Earth. And then it's just... Yes. I mean, we could do an entire video on the opening of this movie, and it would totally deserve
Yes!
it. But it's just, beyond that, there's just nothing interesting about this movie. They go back to the setup of the first Alien, where it's this little isolated place and you have one singular alien walking around, and you can't do that after you have the epicness of Aliens. You can't make it this huge action spectacle where there's hundreds of xenomorphs, there's dozens of facehuggers, there's an alien queen, there's chest bursters running around everywhere, and you take us back and give us one singular alien, and the only difference is that it walks on 2 legs instead of 4, or 4 legs instead of 2, because it bred inside of a dog instead of a human. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't go backwards. You took a gigantic step back, and now you're making us relive something that we've already been through in a hugely watered down version. And aside from that, no characters. I mean, I'll stop ranting. Go ahead. You should probably get a few words out.
So first off, some of my rant with this is, the first 90 seconds was just freaking terrible. And like you said, if I was Ripley and I was scared of aliens and had post-traumatic stress from aliens, and I had OCD because of aliens, before I go to sleep, the first thing I'm doing is making sure there's no monsters in the closet.
Yes.
The other stupid thing was, the alien thing bursting out of the dog. In the first movie, I was just mad that they risked life and limb for a stupid cat. In this movie, this is an innocent dog that the movie decided to kill. And then, every time this movie began something interesting, it killed it. It killed the thing that interested me. And the first thing that began to interest me, so if we're not going to have Michael Biehn, and I just have to live with that, well, at least we got Lord Lannister from Game of Thrones, okay? It's cool that he's showing up in this. I'm excited for that. He turned out to be kind of a likable character as we kind of go on. He believes Ripley that there's something else going on here. He cares for Ripley. He's on her side. The little romantic fling kind of begins. Well, okay, not a romantic fling. She decides she wants to sleep with him, so she asks for it, and they do that.
Which is another problem, because Ripley was never that kind of character. She was never the promiscuous female. She was always stronger than that. She was always better than that. So the fact that they shoehorn that into the story is another gigantic problem. And that's the one thing that you really don't want to screw with, is the character of Ripley, because if you're going to bring her back, you're going to water her down too. And yeah, exactly like you said, Charles Dance is the only other character besides Ripley that interests me even the slightest in this movie. And he doesn't interest me all that much, but like you were saying, in the scene where he starts to become that interesting character, where you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of interested in where this is going, he dies.
Yes! And, I guess they did it for shock value, and that was kind of a cool scene in the beginning, the way they set it up, but the moment he died, I went, you've got to be kidding me. Of all the things that this movie's already done to me, of all the things that this movie has already ruined, you built up a character who was interesting, who was likable, and then you took him completely out of the equation, and we're just left with these other prison characters that I don't care about. It was the dynamic between her and Mr. Lannister that made it interesting that she was in this prison with these other guys.
Yep.
That was it. And then they took it out. I was so freaking angry. I was angry.
This movie infuriates you throughout the entire runtime, because, I mean, it's just... I'll go ahead and get the one positive of this movie out of the way, is that at least Sigourney Weaver is trying. She's trying to do something here. That is the only thing that I can, if I'm grasping at straws, and I'm grasping hard, I mean, I'm barely getting one. that she's still trying to deliver the Ripley that we know and love. But that's it. That's the end of the positive. So go ahead, prepare yourself, people. This is going to be nothing but negatives from the beginning to till now. But aside from that, the other big problem that I have with this, which was one of the biggest thing that we praised the other two movies for, was the effects on the alien. They're horrible.
Oh gosh, they were terrible in this one.
They're horrible. They are. It's like Mortal Kombat bad. I mean, you see it whenever it walks away, and it's so digital that it's like, what the hell are you doing? And oh my god, like I'm laughing.
It really had no excuse whatsoever. Period. It should have been good. Gosh.
Yeah, and just the second half of the movie is basically just them trying to trap this alien and kill it before, Weyland Yutani comes and takes the alien, and they get their way after 3 movies of trying to get this thing. So the plans that they come up with to kill this alien are just retarded. I mean, let's dump gasoline over everything while holding flammable objects, and we'll try to burn the alien out, and then the alien screws their plan in 3 seconds. And then you go into, okay, well, there's this gigantic fuel piston that smashes against the wall. We'll try to lure it in here. And then, every single time they come up with a plan, they lose about 30 people.
And gosh.
It's to the point.
Honestly, I think that was supposed to be intense. Like, oh my gosh, it's so smart and powerful, nothing worked. For me, it was just exhausting. It's like,
yes.
Gosh, are we serious? We still have to keep going through this. And Ripley, you know better, okay? You know this thing. God.
Yeah, it's infuriating. And the sad part is this movie was plagued by production problems from the beginning. I mean, it took until 1993 to get this thing out. I think they wanted to do it immediately after Aliens in 1986. So, 9 years of problems. And the original concept for this, whenever they were first, kind of writing down things for Alien 3, was that it was going to be 2 movies back to back. I don't know if Cameron was going to come back for it or not. I have to research that. But basically, they were going to have one movie that focused on Hicks, Michael Biehn's character, and Ripley was going to be out of the picture for that one. And then Ripley was going to come back in the 4th movie for this epic second chapter. And it just went through all this development hell with the writing and the directing, and people were just changing hands like crazy. And eventually they landed on the first-time director, David Fincher, which the fact that this movie was directed by David Fincher still amazes me, because David Fincher has got pretty much a spotless filmography aside from this movie. He's a phenomenal director. And you could tell that this was a lot of studio, meddling and problems, and he was a first-time director getting pushed around. And this feels like a movie to me that they almost like they were going to lose the rights to Alien if they didn't throw something out on the screen really quick. I mean, it just feels so haphazardly made. It feels so uninspired. It feels like they just threw it out there.
When I was watching it, I could tell 9-year difference, but how could it be 9 years and it felt like a rush? And it felt like that when I was watching this movie. It felt like, for whatever reason, they rushed. None of it felt like the other 2 Alien movies that I've now come to know and really like and enjoy. I mean, there's no attention to the detail that was in the other 2. There's no attention to the detail of the effects. Every time it was a wide shot of that alien, I was cringing.
Yeah, it felt like they wanted to go in a really dark, grim, unapologetically bad toned territory for this third one. They wanted it to be just brutally gory, which they got in certain spots. The gore is really cheap, in my opinion, to be honest, but it's gorier than the other 2, or at least bloodier. It is darker. It is a lot more grim, but it's just like we don't go that direction after Aliens. Aliens brought it into this fun action adventure mixed with horror direction, and now you're taking it, like I said, it's like they took 18 steps forward with Aliens, and then they took 35 steps backward with Alien 3. And it's funny too, because there's still people out there that try to defend what they did with this. There's an assembly cut, which is basically what they try to dub as their director's cut, which David Fincher actually doesn't even have anything to do with. So how do you have a director's cut without the directors? Beyond me. But the only differences with the assembly cut and the theatrical cut, which I assume you watched the theatrical cut, is that it's 30-something minutes longer. So all it does is makes you relish in the terribleness that much longer. And that's actually the one that I watched in preparation for this review, sadly. But basically the only difference is that the alien comes out of an ox instead of a dog, which I guess you probably would have been favorable on that decision. The scene at the very end, which let's talk about the end before I even get there, because
Yes, let's do that, because I need a rant about the ending.
Okay,
I do.
So
yes.
basically, aside from all of the crap that they tried to just shove down your throat in this movie, they cap it all off with killing the main character of Aliens. They have Ellen Ripley, which if they meant it to be a twist, they failed miserably that she has an alien inside of her, because they show the X-ray at the opening credits that there was a face hugger on one of their heads, and they negate that out of Hicks and Newt in the beginning, the first 15 minutes of the movie. So you know it's Ripley that's got the face or the chest burster in her. So that's a terrible twist. Number two, why does it take so long for that chest burster to come out? Because in every other movie that we've seen so far, the chest burster process is a couple of hours. You get gestated, the thing blows out before you're done eating lunch. And so it makes no sense in the timeline of that. But then just the fact that you're going to kill Ripley in this horrible movie was just, it just caps it off with even more aggravation. And then you bring in, I don't even remember his character's name in this, but you bring back Lance Henriksen, the guy who played Bishop, and now he's like the creator of Bishop, and he's the main face of Weyland-Yutani, and they sent him to get the alien. But they don't do anything with his character. They don't have any kind of this great reveal. It's just like, oh, it's Lance Henriksen again, and then the movie ends.
Yeah, and that was weird to me, because it felt like the only... I think you're supposed to feel shock when he showed up, like, oh good, it's Bishop. Wait, it's not? But his character didn't mean anything to anyone, you know? It was just like, I don't get it. Why is he here? And then like you said, for the whole gestation thing, my wife and I were sitting there watching this, trying to figure this out, like, really? Why didn't it burst out of her chest if it's been there for so dang long? Like, I mean, how long was she frozen before they found her? And so it's probably been, while she was asleep, been in her stomach gestating. So she should have been dead before she woke up. I mean, there are so many things. And so my wife is like, is it a queen? Like, is there a queen living in there? And that's why, like, you know, it's growing like a baby in there and it's not going to just burst out and all that stuff. Like, that's why it's taken forever. So, like, we were trying to come up with our own theories because the movie decided not to give us those theories. And then, maybe explain this to me, because maybe I missed something, or maybe this movie is just that bad. So
I will do my best.
They dump the hot liquid on the alien.
Yes.
And the alien comes out, and he's like, yeah, that was hot, but I'm alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
After they die from bullets and aliens, by the way. And then she burst a water pipe, and then the alien blows up. So this alien was the Wicked Witch of the West. What was that?
Well, I guess the thing that they were going for is the whole scientific thing, which they reused on the first Fantastic Four movie, where if you rapidly cool molten metal, it hardens immediately, and so the hardening process, I guess, killed the alien. That's the biggest stretch that I can go to, but like, they're afraid of fire, they're afraid of heat. They established this in the first two movies, so you dump molten hot, whatever the hell that was, metal, on top of it, and it comes out like it just took a shower. Like, hey guys, and yeah, I don't know. That's just one of the other reasons too. It's just like, really, you've been trying to kill this thing for almost 45 minutes, and that's the best you could come up with. Like, I commend you for not blowing it out of the airlock for the third time, but no.
And then that moment where Ripley throws herself into these flames. First off, those effects were beyond bad. That was terrible. That was some of the, and when she disappears in the flames, there's not even a, like, you know, she splashed into something. It's just, and it's like, okay, well, that's stupid. And then that's when the alien burst out. It's like, oh, okay. And that's one of the only other changes in the assembly cut. In the assembly cut, she just falls. The thing never even bursts out in the entire movie. Okay, well,
so that one small little change, I guess, improves the movie.
That is not enough to improve squat for me. Not even close. It's just, that whole thing was so abundantly stupid. And it's like, I should be so sad that Ripley is dying. But everything around Ripley in this movie has just been so bad. I'm just like, good, she's dead in this freaking movie. Gosh. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, can we kill the main character that I absolutely love, please, so that I can move on and do something else with my night? I mean, I've only watched this movie 2 times my entire life. The first time when I bought the DVD set back when I watched Alien for the first time when I was like 17 or 18 years old, and I watched it purely just to see how terrible it was because everybody always talked about it, and they were right. And I watched it
2 nights ago in preparation for this review, and it was even worse because I watched it immediately after Aliens. So it was like a fresh wound. I mean, it's just there's nothing redeeming about this movie. There's nothing I can latch onto, even if I'm trying to be nice. Like I already said, the only thing I can try to be nice about is that Sigourney Weaver shows up and says some lines. You know, it's just, there's so much horrible about Alien 3 that there's no way you can do a review on it without titling Rant somewhere in the title.
I don't even know what else to say, because the other stuff I want to add is really about the beginning of Alien Resurrection, which I found very, very odd, trying to come from where we ended with Alien 3, trying to get into Alien Resurrection, but then Alien Resurrection got better, whereas Alien 3 just had nothing.
There's not much more I can say. Like, I can't really even latch onto more story beats to talk about because there's not really any story. You just kind of, this movie is monotone. Like, once they break your heart, they make you relish in it for the first 30 minutes, going through this autopsy of Newt and talking about how horrible all these things are. And you're just sitting there, you're like, it's like they're putting your face to the freaking frying pan, like, watch it!
And I think the only reason they did this was because Newt was too old to continue in that role since it's 9 years later. And it's like, well, then make a different movie! It's so she can be there! This is stupid!
Yeah, exactly. So then you move on from the heartbreak, and then the movie's just monotone from then on. You're like, nothing is interesting me. Nobody is interested in me. The alien's not interested in me because it looks horrible, and why is there only one again? We've already been through this. And it's just, you're just on this monotone ride until the credits decide to roll, and then you feel the only piece of joy you feel in this movie is when the credits roll because you can stop watching it.
I think I agree with that. So, I don't know. What's your rating for this movie?
Okay, well, normally I reserve a rating, skip it, for movies that I think you should absolutely not spend any time watching. You should not bother with it. Don't spend a dime on it, anything like that. Don't waste any time even thinking about it. But when you add in the factor of smacking me in the face for the first 30 minutes of this movie, spitting on my fandom of the previous movie and this franchise and the characters, you kill the main character. I mean, when a movie insults me down to my core, there's only one thing I can say about it, and that's this movie. If this review was on my channel and I was doing it by myself, my trusty swear counter would be up in the corner for the entire runtime. Let's put it that way.
I think I'm just gonna give this movie an F. I mean, there really isn't anything redeeming about it. And when it starts to have a few redeeming factors and a few interesting characters and a few interesting points, they just kill it off. It's like they had a goal, as you said, for this thing to be as monotone as they could make it, while destroying the very ending we worked so hard for in Aliens. So yeah, I think this might be the first movie on my channel to get an F. So thank you, Cody. You are now here, part of history, the first film to get an F.
I'm honored.
All right, Cody. One more time, your channel, where can we find you?
All right, guys. Well, you can find me by searching Cody Leach. I should be the first person that pops up, or you can just type in youtube.com/Cody Leach channel, or you can just see me on one of the many videos that me and Durbin do on our collaborations. We do a lot of fun videos. And keep an eye out for our Alien Resurrection review, as well as all the other movies that we're going to be going through in this franchise leading up to Covenant. We're going to have a fun time. Come have fun with us.
That's right. So, Alien Resurrection, I predict we're going to have a lot more fun reviewing that one because it was overall a way better movie than Alien 3. And then, of course, we're going to have fun with Alien vs. Predator and all that fun stuff. So, lots of great things ahead between Cody and I with just this franchise alone, but lots of great things ahead anyway. So, hit the subscribe button on my channel, become a Durbanian, and hit the bell so that way you're notified the moment these videos drop. And go over there to Cody's channel, hit the subscribe button on his channel, and hit the bell on his channel. That way, when he drops new videos, you are notified immediately. So, do all of that. Have fun with us. Join us in the conversation. What did you think of Alien 3? Let us know in the comments. I'm Durbin. This is Cody. Thank you for checking out Durbania.